Members, faculties, and participants to the Day 5 of National Workshop on Innovation and Sustainability in Food Processing. Today's session has been scheduled on students' progression and career prospects in food science and technology. For today's session, it is my honor to introduce our first speaker, Dr. R.P. Singh, Chief Scientist, CFTRI, with an expertise in plant science, specifically in isolation and characterization of bioactive from non-edible of plant materials, purification and characterization of active compounds, and having an experience of 30 years in the field and over 35 publications in peer-reviewed journal, I welcome you, sir, on behalf of AIFT team to kindly address our students on career opportunities in food technology. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Monica. Actually, I was a little bit off, so thank you very much. And at the outset, let me just thank you all for giving me this opportunity. This is your theme of your this 5 days workshop, right?
8-day workshop.
This is your 5 days workshop, no?
8-day workshop.
Okay.
Sorry.
And this is your theme.
Yes,
and these slides are not moving. Anyway, shall I do one thing? Shall I just pass on the slides to you? You can just operate from your end.
Yes, sir. Sir, that will be very nice, nice of you. So please, email me your presentation. Then I'll be sharing the presentation. I think then you can present. Yes.
Okay. So give me 2 minutes time. I'm sorry for the
No
disturbance.
problem, no problem. Just the food technology students, because this is really required. That means the different kind of things that where they'll be doing higher studies, the career progression. Actually, that is the most important thing for the students. And in this workshop, many are the participants are from academics background. Some are from the industry background as well. So therefore, this session is really very important, specifically for the students. So I think I have not received yet. Yes.
Yeah, actually,
sir, I
mean, it was lovely on behalf of Dr. Modi that I don't know, suddenly he remembered me, and since he knows that I was with the students almost for 30 years, and just this month I have been promoted in a different position, and I am heading some other department. So that is how this. Otherwise, the students means that is my top priority. By the way, you have got the slides? No, not yet.
Not yet, sir. I think you have sent the slides on M. Thakur 1 only, or to some different address.
No, that Khedkar. That from where I was getting the mails.
So so please send into to the email address M. Thakur 1 also. M. Thakur 1. I think it's mentioned in the email address as well. I am there in CC. M. Thakur 1.
Yeah, I have sent this one.
Okay, so okay. I think you can reshare the slides, because even Dr. Khedkar has not received the presentation.
So thank you very much, the organizers, this AIFT. Am I right? AIFT?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
AIFT.
For inviting me for this your very important workshop or whatever is there. And you felt that I could be a part of that. So thank you very much for your confidence. And just for my information, for your information, I have already been introduced. Thank you for the nice words. I don't know, when the people say that nice words, ultimately what we give it to the organizers, that only they read. So there is no question of nice words. What you have given, they have read it. Anyway, this is all article lighter side of the thing. I am Dr. R.P. Singh, working in CFTRI for the last almost on this 30th, I will be finishing 30 years. And presently, I am Chief Scientist and Head of Department of Biochemistry and Nutrition, Biochemistry and Lipid Science Department. I have just taken over this month. Otherwise, before that, I was a part of HRD Department, Human Resource Development. Earlier, it was known as Manpower Development. Earlier, it was Training Center. I can say that 30 years, almost 30 years, I was with the students. So, and to be very frank, when I saw the content of the letter, what Dr. Renu Khedkar has sent to me, I was so, what should I be happy that I am going to talk to the students other than CFTRI. It was really a pleasure for me. Let us see, students also should have the same pleasure of that kind. Let us see. So may I have the change? Next slide, please. Yeah. So that's what. Let me thank the organizer, that is AIFT, at MIT University, and of course my management. who have permitted me, because and Dr. Modi knows in our case anything is there, we have to just root through our management that I want to be a part of this seminar. So management they told go ahead, because the president director and Dr. Modi, I mean, they were very good friends. Even I am also, I mean, we are good friends. But the thing is, ultimately, what happens? The administration, this administration, you have to take the permissions. So next slide, please, madam.
Yes, sir. This is the
Yeah, this is the beautiful campus of CFTRI. This picture, it was just taken at one flag by one of my colleagues, and of course, many of you must have visited CFTRI. It is 131 acres land, and different departments are there. Now, what happens is that, as it was told, that food processing and the topic was that career opportunities and so like that. Now, please go to next slide. Yeah, see this food processing sector, even today it is known as sunrise industry in the country, not only country, in the world. Why? Because, please next slide. Yeah, see India, I mean, we are at many places we are the first or second. Let us see biggest milk producer, second in food production, 5th, 5th or 6th number in meat production, second largest producer of wheat and rice. Like that, many first and seconds are there. Now, what happens is that we have this much of perishable community being produced, and what has to be done? Please next slide. I mean, everything cannot be consumed at the same time. I mean, I'm going to a very basic thing, but this thing is that this makes the background of the total presentation. To convert this excess or agri produce, which is invariably perishable in nature and goes to very low price in glut season. I mean, still we are, I mean, every now and then we get the news that this tomatoes are being thrown on the roads, and it's being crushed by, I mean, at one time, and when really it is what you call the tide season comes, means where there's the scarcity is there, you get these things for a very high price. So this is there only we need that it should be processed in a proper way. That's why, so exceptions are grains, but not indefinitely, right? That's why the processing to convert into processed products which could add value to the produce and could be utilized as per the requirement. But of course, we have to keep the word shelf life, because beyond that, definitely anything cannot be used. Next slide, please. Okay. Since I'm addressing to students, just I'll make a small definition of that. Food science and food technology, these are the terms where invariably they are being used interchangeably. But there is a minor difference between these two. See, food science, what we call it, is an interdisciplinary subject involving microbiology, chemistry, biology, and engineering. Study of the physical and biological and chemical makeup of the food, the cause of the food deterioration, and the concept of underlying food processing. Here comes the food science. Let us see, next is food technology. Next slide, ma'am. Previous one.
yes, sir.
Food technology. This is the application of food science to the selection, preservation, processing, packaging, distribution, and use of safe food. Actually, in this, there is one more word is there, that is continuous food supply, right? That is also part of that. Ultimately, these principles of food science will be used in food technology to convert the food into a safe and sustainable supply. That's the importance of food technology. It is related to fields including analytical chemistry, because you have to have the quality of the food, biotechnology, engineering, nutrition, quality control, and food safety management. All these elements are included in the subject food technology. Please next slide. Yeah. This is a topic which has been given to me, student progression and career prospects in food science and technology. I will try to address this thing with reference to my experience in CFTRI. I think that is what I am supposed to do. Maybe organizers can just correct me if I think this is what I am supposed to do. That what are the career prospects and how it has to be managed? That is most important, because I always go with the word that once you are with the students, you should be for students. Let us see anything is there. You just don't bother about that. You have to take care of the students and their interest with top priority. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah. once the students goes for the study of food science and technology, let us see BTech, BSc, MSc, whatever is there are options like the student. See, first of all, what is the student's choice? One thing is that either it is your choice whether directly you want to go to get placed in the industry and start earning from day one, right? But that has got its own. Everything has got its own plus and minus points. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah, I will address this thing with two angles. One is for students. One is for when managers also. Managers means when I say that that you have a coordinator who will be handling this placement and all these things. For them also, I'll just give what I was doing there. I'm not going to tell what you are supposed to do, but I will tell what we were doing at CFTRI. For students' point of view, this is students' angle is that prioritize your priorities. Means whether you want to go to industries or whether you want to go for higher education or whether you want to be an entrepreneur. That is your choice. If you're not decided your priorities, that means you are failing somewhere. You have the background. All students, they will have their background. That is they will have a degree in this subject, food technology, food science, or food science and technology. But the thing is that ultimately you have to prioritize. And once I tell the prioritize your priorities, that has number of things. Students, everybody will agree that everybody's pocket is not equal, or it is not loaded with equal amount of what call finance. That depends. Sometimes some students, they have to look for the jobs immediately. Sometimes some students, they can have their own priorities. They can go for determined entrepreneurship. That depends. So when I tell about prioritize your priority, definitely you have to have many things to look after. What is your immediate priority? That you have to decide upon. Then look for the best opportunity. Look for the best opportunity in the sense it should be choice based. What is your choice? Industry, higher education, or entrepreneurship? That's what I can say. That I also ask students, what is your goal? And to be very frank, I'll tell you, in 30 years, I have seen that, not many, because food science and technology, as I told, it is sunrise industry. It has got number of opportunities. Not many students, they go for higher studies. We have students who have done their PhD and they are doing wonderful in their areas, and they are handling number of projects in different universities, not only in India and abroad also. But the priority has to be there. It has to be well defined. What are you looking for? Okay, choice based. Choice based. When I told that ultimately you have to have key whether you have to support your family. So many things are there. I'm not going to discuss everything about that, but definitely you have to have a clear cut, well defined priority. Then only you can just proceed for that. And this also should have be preference based. Preference based, when I tell, that means, see, many times what happens in industries, like for example, some people that tell, okay, I'll not go to meat and poultry and fish industry, right? Because my family doesn't allow me to go for this sort of industries. Somebody has got a little bit hitch towards this, what we call this breweries, beer. I'll not take beer, whether I get job or not. These are all things. So you have to have your own preference. And I will try to just tell the students that even if you are working in what you call this meat and fish and poultry, and you are not taking this thing, not necessarily that you will be asked every day, eat this thing, right? And see, you have your what you call your traditions, you have custom, you can maintain that one even while working in these things. So you have to, look for the best opportunity, because just for your what you call a little bit traditional this one, you should not lose the what you call track. That is important. But of course, preference is yours, what you want and how you are going to manage. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah. Before coming for any interview, this is all I used to tell my students: prepare well. You have to have a good idea about company profile. What are the things? When they were established? Because you won't believe when students' interviews will be there, and once the companies they give their what you call presentations, I will also be sitting with them. You should just see, imagine company representatives, company executives, my students, and at the backside I am sitting there. Why? Because I just wanted to know what company, what they are doing. and where my students are likely to go. I mean, I don't know how will you appreciate this one. So my suggestion for students is prepare well. Whenever any company is coming, go through its company profile, its profile very well. See that what are the products they are making, what are the products they are making abroad, what are the products they are making in India. Because if you are supposed to attend the interview for some company, you have to know about that. Then coordinators can have now. Other thing is that group discussions. Generally, the trend is earlier it was to be one-to-one interview. I'll tell you about this before this millennium. It used to be one-to-one interview directly, but now it has become a trend that they will have the GDs, group discussions, and group discussions was the first gateway which takes you to the second round and maybe close to your job, your placement. All right. So I'll come to that what you call coordinators also. My suggestion is maybe take your group into confidence. Previous slide only. Previous slide, please. Yeah. So you can arrange mock group discussions, and maybe coordinators can have a monitor on that. Let us see how their students are performing. What is the weak area? What is the strength? What is the weakness? What analysis it can be done? So that once the students they reach to the interview, they should have more or less they should have all with equal strength. Sometimes some students their English is not good. I mean that has to be they have to be geared up with that. All right. Now, when you are talking about when you are attending any interview, please you have I mean it is a sincere advice that you should not talk anything good or bad, or I mean that's what I have written no to load discussion about other companies. Sometimes they will ask you whether what are the companies that have come. So I think these companies have come. I'm not very sure. But they should not tell that you are also in the class. You can tell these companies have come, they have taken the and just keep quiet. Not that okay, that company was good, that company was bad. Students have to keep in their mind that whenever any company they are attending the interview, they should feel that they are God on that day, right? Maybe you may be a candidate for them. And before that, you started criticizing other companies. It will give a negative, meaning for you that you can criticize today this company, tomorrow you can criticize your own company where you are going to work. Maybe once you leave this company. So whenever the day you are talking to a particular company, you should feel that you are made only for that company, and never talk about other companies. Best thing, nobody would like to listen any bad thing about himself or herself or company as well. So please just take the students. Please just take this note that never ever discuss about anything about other companies which have come, which have taken the students, and where you have not been selected. Suppose they ask, you have not been selected, why? Maybe I might have not performed well. That's all. Close the chapter. Don't go into that. They ask this thing that because the more and more you talk, more and more you are exposing themselves. I mean yourself to them. Okay, these are the things and tricks. I mean I can bring to you. Okay, and preference based. I have already told that. Okay, maybe you have a choice, need based, breweries, and all that you can have your own decision. But my point is, even if you are in breweries, you are not asked to drink every day in the company. Not. I mean, no company will allow you to do like that. Next slide, please. Yeah, then comes the role of coordinators. I mean, I should say that I was coordinator almost till 2012. There was a change in 2012 where there was a little bit, I should say, little bit damaging changes were there in the CFTRI when a new director joined, and he had a altogether different view for HRD. He brought a very inexperienced person. Anyway, not to discuss about that. But the thing is that previously when I was handling this thing, I had these ideas. To be very frank, I'll tell you that sometimes you may have to have a little bit tough decisions to be taken. Maybe if time permits, I don't know whether still I have enough time or not. 15:36. I think I have at least I have 10 minutes more. Hello, do I have 10 minutes more?
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. Please, you carry on. Yes.
Okay.
You can continue.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now it comes to the role of coordinator. Who is handling? Like I can quote my example when I was handling till 2012. Later on, again I took over, but there are some 5 years gap was there. So maybe you can. When I told 30 years, you can make it 25 years because 5 years I was indirectly in touch with the students, not directly with HRD, because as I told you, there was change in management and they had a different idea. Forget about that thing. This is all our own story. I mean, as I told you, I should not talk much about that one. So as coordinator, you have to prioritize the industries. For example, students, once you ask them, they will say that, okay, this company is paying well, this company is paying a little bit less. Now, what is your thing? You have to manage in such a way that, okay, the company which is paying, because we will have the idea that, okay, this company, even if they are paying low, right? They are paying low, but they are much better established company than what is paying higher. But this is things students not understand. The students will only see the figures, how much they are paying, how much they are paying. So for that, we have to just respect the students' feeling. Okay, that prioritize the industries. I mean, suppose some low-paying industry has compared and they were asking for date. Suddenly, you get another company. Please just see that first company which is paying higher. You can just make the calendar like that they can come earlier. So the your students are happy. Otherwise, what happens? The low-paying company comes. I don't know what is the system in MIT. Many times I have faced in music that companies I'll fix the date and the students are not rated. Because another company is there behind that which is paying higher. So coordinators really it is very, very tricky role, and really sometimes you have to really strike a balance between industry and students. You can't make the companies also angry because next year they'll not come for your students. You can't make the students also angry because ultimately they are dependent on you. All right. So you have to really play a very, very balanced game in that. But sometimes you have to take tough decisions. When I think I have told this word. Suddenly, what happened in around 2001? I remember. Can I quote this thing? There is a small, maybe 2 minutes story I'll tell. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can share, sir.
Okay. Okay. See what happened. There was because when I was handling this coordinatorship before 2012, when I told everything from industry, I was handling this correspondence. Suddenly, one fine day, I think it was around 2001 or some around that only, because definitely more than 20 years. One student came, sir, there is a call from this particular company X. I'm not going to name the company. There is no point in naming that company. And they wanted to have the placement. Very nice. I mean, ultimately, as a coordinator, what do you want? At the end of the course, students should get proper placement. Right? Suddenly, 2 more students come. Sir, I also got a call from them. At that time, I think email and all, it was going on, but it was not very strong like today. But anyway, telephone calls and all, these used to be the mean of correspondence. By the time I'm talking to 3 students, suddenly it's 4 or 5 students that come. Sir, we also got the call. Then I was a little bit alert. I told, give me the number. From which number you are getting a call? And I called them. And it was company X who told that they are interested in taking about 12 students for their company. All right. Remember, I am telling that sometimes you have to take very hard decision. When I told, okay, 12 companies, 12 students in a company. I mean, that's what a coordinator wants. That this many number of students are going to place in one shot. What else you want? And for your information, maybe I think you may be knowing, or you may, I'll make you aware that we take about 25, 30 students total. Out of that 12 means almost, can say 40, 45% students will go in one shot. And it is a good, very, nice news for me. Then I thought I'll just talk to them. I talked to the person who was calling these students. And I told, thank you very much. I'm happy that you could have called me because as a coordinator. No, sir, because we had these students. Sometimes students also, they'll play a very nice game also. They will keep on applying that. No issue in that. But see that you should have the control. So continuing the story, I told, okay, thank you. So I understand you are taking about 12 students. Yes, we are taking 12 students. Then next question was from the coordinator, that is myself. I asked, what is the package? And to my surprise, they told, they will be paying 5,000 rupees. Can you imagine students from CFTRI? They are being offered a package of 5,000 rupees. Really, I was in fire, and I told 5,000 rupees. Is it per month? I responded like that only. Yes, you told yes. I told, you mean to say you are coming to CFTRI? They told yes, we want to hire the students from CFTRI. I told you I think you have not understood CFTRI. And please don't mistake me. This is a sentence I used. I told my students will lift the brick on the roads, but they will not come to your company. Can you just downgrade my students to that extent? No, sorry. Sir, I think I have wasted my time by talking to you. I told you have wasted my time and my students' time also talking to me. You mean to say I'm going to selling students just like what you call mango and potato? No, they are safeguarding students. So sir, you have to take tough decision because 12 students I can channel, but whole life they will curse you. I mean, you have to see the what you call the trend going on. And that time average package, I think 2001 I am telling, it was about 25,000 rupees. And 5,000 rupees, 12 students, 60,000 rupees, where I could get only 2 students, they are taking 12 students. I told you, then little bit hard discussion was there. I told, please don't come to CFA as long as I am there. So, I mean, let us hope that should not come. Because sometimes when things go beyond my control, I'll lose my temper. Generally, it doesn't happen, but this happened. But it's a very tough rule, and these sort of things you have to be very careful because at the end, and we also have a policy. We had a policy, and now also I think my next successor also will have this thing that once the students are active in one company, we will not allow them to attend to other company because you cannot block the chance of others. And one student is having 2 interviews. No, sorry, you have been selected. Your things are over. That's the thing. Okay, these coordinators have a very tough role because students, they will keep on asking what is the package, this, that, I mean, all these things. And companies will ask what is there. So communication and these things we have to handle in a very, very, and sometimes what you call this, when this sort of say this scenario comes, you have to handle with little bit iron hand. Because you cannot sell your students. You cannot sell your students. Just because you want to get the job for them, no, not like that. Anyway, so then manage the overall scenario, right? The companies will come, they will ask for this, that, and ultimately the students. Overall scenario when I write, sometimes I don't know what is the scenario again in MIT because we don't allow students to go and talk to them executives independently, try to manage the things. No, when coordinator is there, I mean, let the things go to him, through him or her. Not that you go and handle, then ultimately you give something different information. Once the selection are over, all are free to talk to the executives, right? You have to have control on that. Apart from that, coordinators can find out a free time from students and arrange the mock GDs because mock GDs, group discussions, they are key point now. And based on that, I mean, I'll tell you, many students who have scored very well, they are maybe first or second in the class, they are not performing very well in GD, and that's why they are out. They may be the very late students who are getting the jobs very late. Because of this, they are not. We're very frank. Getting marks is difficult. I mean, it's different altogether ball game. Getting job is a different ball game. I mean, I think the coordinators will agree with me, right? Getting marks, yes, you can get the marks, but once it comes to mock GDs and interviews, you have to have a altogether different approach, because suddenly they will give a topic there. You have to start thinking and presenting about that. So coordinators can have the mock GDs before the placement starts and make the students, at least every student who can perform more or less on the same footing. That is important. Next slide, please. This is all about when the candidate wants to go directly for the job or placement. That is one aspect. Second aspect is that even students can opt for higher education. I told you that many of the students, even after doing MSc, they may not be able to go. They may not like to go to industry. They may go for higher education, like PhD programs, or maybe going abroad. Like so, those students, they have to make up their mind. In this connection, again, I'll appeal to students. Suppose you have any plan to go for higher education, please indicate to your coordinator so that there should, I mean, I don't know what is strength in MIT for this different what you call the standards, but we have 30 students. One student goes means the chances of other students will increase by 4 to 5%, and that's why we tell. Suppose you have any plan for higher education, please just indicate so that the chances of others are increased by that much percentage. Anyway, that again comes to coordinator only. So those students who want to go for higher education, national JRF-ships are there, CSIR, ICMR, and UGC. Many scholarships are there. They can go and they can join. Now, when I was doing my PhD somewhere in early 80s, That time it was there. The moment the institute you choose at the time of filling your JRF form, you have to go for that institute only. Now I think these things are totally different. You go for the JRF ship, and ultimately it is your choice where you want to go, provided that institute is ready to take you. Not that you have filled a form from Institute X, you can't go anywhere. So there are different, portals are there where you can go for JRF ship and other fellowships, because now for PhD programs, most of the institutes, they don't take without any university fellowship. Abroad studies, again, how much your parents can support, you can choose for that also. And many of our students, they have gone to abroad. I have told you, they are doing very well. They have gone for PhD program. They are doing they are very nice faculty members, and they are doing very well. Not going to industries. Next slide, please. This is the new trend. It has come now that either you go to industry or you go for higher education, or you can also choose this aspect, entrepreneurship. But provided you have to have little bit support. For entrepreneurship, you have to be very careful while selecting this thing. You have to thoroughly study the overall conditions. What are the things? What are the raw material around you? What are the things? Whether you have enough transportation. I mean, to set up an industry or to set up the things, you have to study it properly. Not that you know about carbohydrates, fats, and protein, metabolism, and processing, and engineering, and not like that. You have to be very careful, and you may have to take the advice of some proper people also. Not that simply you jump and put your capital and ultimately it is loss. So this requires lot of thinking, thorough study, overall conditions, and then only you decide what you want to do. Somewhere but I should say particular fruit X is grown very well. If you want to go for fruit Y, this is really catastrophic. To support the entrepreneurship offered by, opted by the candidates, there are incubators. I think now this term also must have been very common. That incubators are there. In CFTR also we have incubators, and there are a number of incubators who are around us. Now these incubators are that based on your your concept, we will provide you the proper place, proper things for upgradation to the level at industrial level, and we will see the sustainability also. That of course we'll there are some charges will be there, but ultimately once everything is fine, then only you can directly jump to the industry, going for entrepreneurship. So you have a lot of opportunities for that also, but I should not say the risk factor, but the thing is that it should be a careful selection of the line you are choosing, because you have not got for industry, you have not got for higher education. That means you want to. One positive point, very important point, is that you don't want to be a what you call don't want a placement. You are going to offer placement to different people. That is best option. But of course, each and every game in the life has its own plus and minus point that you have to target. But once you are settled, definitely you'll be doing wonders. Particularly for this SC/ST students, I'll tell you, the organization like NSSH, National SC/ST Hub, they provide a lot of funding, a lot of opportunities for them. Why I'm telling you is because this last year we had 5 to 6 courses organized for particularly for SC/ST students, which was sponsored by NSSH itself. There, one coordinator from NSSH, they came and they told fantastic opportunity, fantastic group, ways of funding, and with very low interest and all. So especially these SC/ST students or SC/ST, let us see, entrepreneurs who may be tomorrow's entrepreneurs, they can also look for these funding agencies which are exclusive for them. Next slide, please. In this connection, now being from CFTRI, I have to advertise a little bit myself also, or my institute also, like what CFTRI can offer. We offer a lot of free technologies that can be adapted from there. We have also have the technology transfer in the sense that, okay, we have technologies and you are interested in taking particular technology, there is nominal fees, you can just pay that and you can take the technology. Ultimately, we will support you further also. As I told, we have also incubators. Apart from that, being in HRD, being from HRD department, I don't know. I always use the word being in HRD now because I should correct myself because now for the last 1 month I am heading biochemistry department, but ultimately my heart goes to HRD only. To be very frank, training programs we offer for short-term courses, long-term courses also, long-term courses like MSc Food Technology, and we have International School of Milling Technology, and earlier we had this Nutrition Value program. Now this has been discontinued for some reason, and I don't know. I should not miss to mention the thing that one of your students, maybe 2-3 years back, Payal Ahuja, she was my student who was working in my lab. So I'll tell you that we have very good rapport with MIT and vice versa. So you can nominate the students for their training programs, and they will get benefited out of that apart from the regular course. We also support number of students for their dissertation programs. I think when I was in HRD, I used to forward many applications from MIT University, and since Dr. Modi is there, once he tells no, I can't say no to my. Once he tells that these candidates have taken, I can't say no to my elder brother. So this is thing. Part PhD program. So you have some PhD programs. I saw you in the program also. Part PhD program, and you feel that some of the facilities which are present in CFTRI and that needs to be utilized. We have the program for that also. You can write to us. We can write to director. You can write to coordinator HRD, and we'll have a what you call program for that also. These are the things we can offer from CFTRI. I mean, maybe I might have given things directly related to HRD, but the thing is that if you visit our website www.cftri.res.in, you can get more information about that. And for your information, Dr. Monica, she has my address. Dr. Modi, he has my address. I think Dr. Meena, she is there or not with you? Dr. Meena Kumari?
Yes, sir. She is our colleague, sir. I think she is there in the meeting also.
So she's from CFTRI, and Dr. Renu also, she has my email address. Anything is there, please just don't hesitate, write to me. Maybe give me some time. Maybe I'll take a day or two to reply you. Sometimes if I have less busy I am, I'll reply immediately. But definitely you'll get a reply from that. MIT University. I should not say that. I feel that many students and Dr. Modi and all, I feel it is maybe my second home, something like that. So thank you very much. I think with this, I would like to close. And I don't know whether I really fulfilled the expectation, because I thought this was on this topic only I was supposed to address. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Dr. Sunan. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Since, ma'am, I think we are not being joined by our second speaker, Dr. Prashant. We can take up the questions.
Yes, yeah, you can take up the questions because he's having some difficulty in joining. I'm trying to join him. Yeah.
Like me only.
Yes, participants, if you have any questions, you can post your questions in the chat box or question answer option we have there also. Please, since we have some time in between the next session. Any career opportunity related questions you can ask, since the whole session is all about the career opportunities in food tech, and sir would be the great help to you people. He has been here.
I think students are very clear about that what I have told. So
yes, seems like
no issue. If students, I mean, they also.
There is a question. There is a question, sir. There are 2 questions. Yes, I can see. Yeah. Are there any online internship programs available currently in CFTRI?
Online?
Online internship programs.
No, I think online we have only short-term courses going on, but we are not very particular about that, because the thing is that, especially in these short-term courses, we feel that students should be more exposed to these labs than just theory. See, theory means you can start with what you call this, processing, start showing the slides and all. But ultimately what happens, we take a feedback, and we had some programs, because this the pandemic is going on for almost more than a year. But students, they have not they have not given very good feedback, because CFTRI means they expect that they will be visiting labs. So based on that, since we did not get proper feedback and students were not very happy, we have not taking much of this internship program. But of course, online internship for students, when it is a part of their curriculum, we have this thing, because they may not be able to visit the lab. But if something can be done, to be very frank, I mean, a lot of compromise has to be made. In the sense, some theoretical aspect, something like report, it can be made. We can even approach our, system. That's not a problem.
Yes, there is another question. There are 2-3 questions,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes. What is the scope of fermentation industry in future?
I don't know whether we have really any precise industry which is based on fermentation. See, if you take about breweries, right? They have certain degree of fermentation, but ultimately it goes for a altogether different type of product. So future, yes, there is a future, but because breweries as such, yes, they have. And for your information, breweries always a lot of things. And as far as future is concerned, nobody knows that what is written for today, tomorrow.
So there is another question. Sir, any suggestions about career in spice business? And the same person participant is also asking.
Please.
You go ahead, sir. It's okay.
No. Whether the candidates from Kerala?
That's I don't know. The candidate name.
No, sir.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So what I tell is that career in spices, I mean, there is a really, as I told you, that entrepreneurship, it can be taken. Why not? It can be taken. But the thing is that the candidate has to select whether he wants to go industry, he wants to open his own. That's why I asked whether candidate from Kerala. Because Kerala, I mean, we know that it is a spice hub of the country. So definitely, and a lot of what do you call it? Ladies are sitting, so they know that okay, spices without that, the kitchen doesn't run. A lot of scope is there, and a lot of varieties are coming. Now, the other day I was seeing that I think one product my daughter she brought, and there is spices added separately. You want to take with spice or without spice? A lot of innovations, a lot of new thinking can be done. The scope is there for spices. No issue about that.
Okay, so the same candidate has another question. So suggestions for freshers like us, we should do any training or what to do in order to increase the practical knowledge and experience. I think in the same field he is asking. And the candidate is from Punjab, sir.
Acha. Okay. So the thing is that once you are undergoing any course, let us say MSc or MTech or BSc or BTech, whatever is there, you will get the basic information. But in many places, I mean, I think in MIT also there is a provision that you will have one semester or maybe at least part of the semester dedicated to your investigation program, right? There you can have a choice of your department where you want to go. Later on, definitely you have got the basic information, basic knowledge, and you have got a platform from where you can take off. But to sharpen your skills further, definitely you have to have different training programs once again. And in CFTRI, from CFTRI being from there, gates are open. You can come. You can look for your information. Because of this pandemic, we are not very effectively doing this thing. In the month of March or April, we put our calendar for short-term courses. And suppose the candidate has asked particularly for spices, you can look for a course in spices. We don't charge any very high. I think maybe about 10 to 12,000 rupees. If I am correct, I should not just exaggerate the things for a 1 week course. And definitely will give the total training on the spices. And with that, you will have altogether different approach. What you have got after your regular course, MSc, MTech or BTech.
Thank you, sir. I hope the participant has received his or her answer. Participants, you can also post some more questions since we still have 2-3 minutes for our next speaker to join in. Okay, so there's another question. Any suggestions about nutraceuticals from pomegranate?
I don't know whether the candidate knows that I am working on pomegranate. The student Payal Ahuja, she was working on pomegranate oil, I think the seed oil. So again, it is really, I don't know how to open the Pandora box, because for your information, I have some contribution done in the field of pomegranate, but unfortunately not for edible portion, non-edible portion. For your information, if you see the pomegranate peel, I mean, I can really tell with my experience that is much better than the edible portion. But problem is that who would like to eat pomegranate peel? Similarly, PSO, pomegranate seed oil, right? We have worked on that, and we have shown very clearly that pomegranate seed oil, once it is people, we are talking about seedless varieties, and I am working on pomegranate seed oil. So I don't know how to justify it. But definitely, for your information, my 2 PhD students, they have worked totally on pomegranate peel and seed. So I can say that a lot of the scope is there. Only problem with pomegranate nutraceuticals is that it's astringent taste. But always there is what you call this what you call, even none of the medicines, they come in very sweet taste, except these homeopathic medicines. But the thing is that if you want to really enjoy this what you call this benefits, definitely a lot of the scope is there nutraceuticals. But again, it has to work. It has to be normalized in such a way that the product ultimately it should have the nutraceuticals from pomegranate, but it should not give off taste. Otherwise, ultimately consumer is the king. He will say, keep your pomegranate with you, otherwise will not take. Lot of scope is there for nutraceuticals from pomegranate.
Okay, so the same participant is asking, what about nutraceutical from fig?
I mean, I have to see this. It's a real profile. What are things there? Fig generally, I mean, घर में ऐसा बोलते हैं ना कि फिग खाने से पता लगा ब्लड वगैरह बहुत अच्छा बनता है. I don't know. I cannot directly answer. Maybe if a student, I will never say no to students. My suggestion is please just post this question to me. I'll just go to the literature. I'll reply to you properly. Because fig, I don't have immediately, I mean, data with me.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So there is one question, how to learn about startups in food sector. How can we start our own startups? Is there any course or organization that can help?
I told you that right now, all over the country, we have the courses like MSc, BSc, BTech, and all these courses are there. But the thing is that after this, because in all these courses, I mean, these are all integrated with some element of management. There, you have to have the idea that, okay, as I told you in one of my slides, that entrepreneurship, right? Like a startup. I know this was Make in India. This is in vogue with the under the leadership of our Prime Minister Modi ji. It is in vogue. So you think of something, but only thing is, before that I told you have to have a thorough study. You should not take any off commodity that you want to have a startup. But I have my doubt whether any direct course is there which will tell you how to have a startup. You have to use your BTech, BSc knowledge, MSc knowledge to have a startup. But thorough study, I mean, looking for everything, you can think of a startup. And I told you a lot of funding is available, even from MSME and what you call, like, for example, NSSH. I told there is why you want to look for any placement. You offer placement to others and have any startup. But have the proper study, then only you should go for it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Another 2 more questions are there. R&D industry generally prefers students with food technology background. Are there any courses which students from nutrition background can take and will give them an edge to work for R&D, research and development?
But does this MIT have any exclusive course on nutrition?
Sir, we have MSc in Food and Nutrition running in AIFT only, in Amity Institute of Food Technology, sir.
Food and nutrition. That means
Yes,
nutrition is not an exclusive thing. So food and nutrition, what happens is that in each and every industry, it is not that, okay, they will run on the classical things only. They will have what is called the product development. There, the role of nutrition and food and nutrition, it comes into the picture, because whenever any product is developed, let it be very good, in all aspects, ultimately, or maybe very popular product, having nice taste, but ultimately nutrition-wise, it is not that efficient. So here becomes the role of food and nutrition. It comes. I should not say that R&D always prefers our students from food technology. Food and nutrition also, they are preferred. Why not? Because nutrition, exclusive knowledge that has its own role, especially in the product development. And each industry, they have their role. They have their own sector for product development. They can't say, no, what product I had 10 years back, I'll continue with that. Whole world is changing. So you have to have innovation, you have to have new products, and there comes the role of nutrition.
Thank you, sir. I hope the participant has got sir. One last question, sir, is there. What is the cheapest alternative for freeze drying? What is the cheapest alternative for freeze drying? Cheapest alternative, sir. No,
this question I can't answer in the sense, because you have, see, this is you are asking that actually what is the commodity you are looking for? Because if freeze drying only you are looking for, see, if any spice is there, or any other where this higher temperature HT processing is there, which affects its quality, you have to go for freeze drying only. So you have to specify commodity, then only I can answer this question.
Okay, sir. Sir, I think I don't think so. We have any more questions?
Yes, Dr. Sinan,
even if some students have some question, please share my email address rpsingh@cfti.res.in. Let them just give one line that, okay, I attended your lecture and this is my question. I will be happy to reply. And since because 1 more week lockdown is there in Mysore, I can apply from home itself. I won't mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, if you permit me, then I can add something in that the production of nutraceuticals from the field.
Sure.
For the participant who was asking about the nutraceutical development on the fig, so yes, we can definitely produce nutraceutical from many of the food products. Like sir also said that the outer portion of the pomegranate, or the portion which is not edible, is much more relevant if you compare it with the grains of the pomegranate. So likewise, you can produce nutraceutical from any of the plant sources. Means any and I think fig is one of the underutilized product also. So you can go in the production part also. But certainly yes, means the type of the phytochemicals or the type of the functional components, they will vary from product to product. They will definitely vary, because in the fig, different phytochemicals can be there. But if you compare with the pomegranates, the different phytochemicals will be there. Likewise, they'll vary always with the plant species. So definitely you can try. Yes, you can definitely contact. Sir has given his email address. And you can also contact our department if anything, in any way we can help you. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Now because I am in biochemistry department, I can give better feedback also with the help of my colleagues. So from MIT University, always students are most welcome, even faculty also. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity. And I don't know whether I have really bored the students, or I don't know. I have done my job, what I was supposed to do.
No, sir, your this session was very enlightening, especially for the students, and definitely for our placement coordinator also. Dr. Ashish is also there. Dr. Ashish Mohit is our placement coordinator, so he's looking after placement since very long. So definitely he'll be in touch with you, so because obviously you'll be having such an enriched experience in placement. So definitely he'll be in touch, and we'll contact your details.
If I can do something, definitely I'll be.
Definitely, sir, definitely. Participant, I think there is some a technical problem with our second speaker, so he'll be joining very soon. Yes, so till that time, if any questions are there, means if you want to ask anything, so you can post your queries in the chat box so we can handle them. Yes, that is as per our expertise. My colleagues are also in the this thing in the panelist forum. So you can also share if anything you want to ask from this thing, all the panelists. So you can also share specifically in the chat box.
So as we move forwards for today's second session of the workshop, I feel elated to welcome our next speaker, Dr. Prashant Bhatt, Chief Research and Development, Mother Dairy. Since the last 27 years, Dr. Bhatt has been associated with various prestigious brands like Coca-Cola Global, where he has worked as a Director, Global Dairy and Plant Protein at Shanghai, Heinz and Britannia. Dr. Bhatt has worked in different segments of the industries as beverages, nutritional products, and infant foods. Today, Doctor will be talking on a career option in the food technology in food industry. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of AIFT team. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I should thanks the faculty of MIT University, Dr. Renu, for having me here. It is a great opportunity to interact with the bright students of MIT University. And today I'll be discussing around the career progression for the students, especially keeping R&D as the focal point. R&D as a career option in the food industry. Before we talk about the career options, we need to understand what R&D does, what are the kind of capabilities required to be a good R&D person, and then what are the different opportunities that exist in the food industry. Now, what R&D does? So if you look at the food industry, the major raw material for any industry within this food segment is the agricultural commodity. So what R&D does is converting this agricultural commodity into a value-added product. And that value-added product should be affordable to the consumer. It should be tasty, and it should deliver the similar kind of consumer experience throughout its shelf life. That shelf life can be a few days or a few months, but throughout the shelf life, the same kind of experience should be delivered to the consumers. So these are the requirements for the delivery from the R&D. If you look at the production of agricultural commodities, India is either number 1 or number 2 in most of the key agricultural commodities. If you look at milk, we are the world's largest producer of milk. So we used to be a milk deficient nation 50 years ago. There used to be rationing of milk. Then there was this initiative called as Operation Milk Flood that changed this scenario, and now we are milk sufficient nation. So we are the world's largest producer. And this whole initiative around Operation Milk Flood is led by NDDB, National Dairy Development Board. So this 208 million tons of milk production corresponds to around 50 crore liters of milk on a daily basis. So for a population of 125 crores, this 50 crores of milk production means an availability of around 400 ml per person per day. Then coming to pulses, we are the world's largest pulse producer. Then fruits and vegetables, we are second largest. And as far as the cereals are concerned, we are largest in wheat. And in some of the other cereals, we are either number 2 or number 3. It is important to understand the kind of production ability that this country has, because finally these products, these agricultural products need to be converted into value-added formats in order to ensure sustainability. This is the kind of share that India has in global agricultural production. Milk, 40% share, which is very high. Then you have got 25% share in pulses and between 11 to 15% share in vegetables and fruits. We are the largest producers in some of these agricultural commodities, but at the same time, there is a significant loss that happens in our agricultural commodities. This loss can happen during production and on field or at the consumer's end. So the major losses happen during transportation or storage. So some of these commodities like fruits or vegetables are perishable in nature. Their shelf life is only few days. And if the output is high and the demand is lesser, then you cannot store them for longer. So that is where the losses happen. During storage, during the transport, it takes few days from the production end to the actual consumer end, during which there are no proper temperature conditions of transport, which lead to a lot of spoilage. At the same time, the storage of grains, we don't have right storage facilities everywhere. That leads to the mold growth or say spoilage of the cereals, the things like cereals. And unfortunately, at the consumer end also, there is a lot of wastage happens in our food. In my opinion, wastage of food is crime, and we all should understand that, because globally there's a large population that goes hungry on a daily basis, and we are not supposed to waste even a little food while we eat. So in the developed countries, there is a lot of wastage. In the developing countries, the wastage is less, but this is something that we should keep in mind. How do we make these agricultural commodities and convert them into the value-added formats? So processing plays a very important role in this entire chain of food sustainability. And there are key benefits, like it provides convenience to the consumers. As an example, you can product that minimizes the waste, because fruits you can process and convert them into a stable format, juice, which can stay on the shelf for 6 months. So that gives a flexibility in terms of supply chain. And also you can ensure right quality and food safety by converting them through processing into these value-added formats. Now coming to R&D, so the sustainability, the need for sustainability drives the innovations or research and development. I just want to check if the slides that I change is reflecting there on your screen also. Currently, I am on the slide that says every innovation needs to be consumer centric.
Yes,
please confirm that?
They are.
Sure. Okay.
Yes, sir. They are visible.
Fine. So every innovation that the food industry delivers, it has to meet the important need of the consumer. So unless it meets those needs, the product cannot be successful. Consumer buys the products for certain needs, right? So, and if you broadly look at the Indian requirements, you can bucket these need states into say 7 or 8 big need states. The first one, which is about everyday nourishment. So this is the biggest need state in India, because you drink or eat products like paneer or say milk or say juices for certain reasons, right? So it helps in nourishing your body. So most of the milk and milk products play within this this segment, and partly juice also plays in this segment. So consumers would have these products for their growth, or say maintenance of bones, or say digestive health, etc., which is a very big need state. And companies like Amul, Mother Dairy, they play majorly into this need state segment. Second biggest would be the energy, because there is so much of competition in India. So you need to be energetic irrespective of what age or what phase of life you are in. So there is physical energy and there is mental energy. So mental energy is about cognition, your grasping abilities, etc. Whereas physical energy is about strength and instant energy. So the biggest product that consumers currently take for energy is tea. the chai. So chai has got milk in it, it has got sugar in it, and it has got caffeine coming from tea that gives you alertness. Somehow Indian consumers relate energy with alertness, and they relate energy with instant energy. So all the glucose-based drinks, the chai, etc., play in this segment. Then third biggest is the hydration. Hydration is a key requirement because India is a tropical country. You tend to lose a lot of fluids, salts, etc. So traditionally, our beverages like nimbu pani or chach, etc., they used to have salt in it to replenish this loss of electrolytes. So all these products play within this hydration segment. The biggest one is tap water. So water or this bottled water, that is the biggest segment, and followed by charge, then juices play in this segment in terms of delivering the hydration needs. Then indulgence, it is across all segments. So India, the taste is the king. So product has to be tasty, it has to be indulgent, otherwise it won't be successful. If the product doesn't taste good, consumers will not buy it. So indulgence across the segments, but there are specific products like ice creams or say yogurts, or say mithais, they cater to this segment. So mithais is a very large business in India, nearly 60,000 crores. Similarly, ice creams is also huge, both unorganized as well as organized. And the fifth one is the fun. Fun is like are the products that have bubbles in it, like carbonated beverages, like Coke or Pepsi. So people have them for fun. So the objective of the products is to deliver you a bit of energy through sugar, and those bubbles deliver the good taste and fun. So these are the key important need states. So any products that you launch within the food or a beverage segment should meet either one or more of these need states. From an industry perspective, how do we identify an idea and deliver it into the market? So I can explain the different steps within product development. With an example of, say, a product like haldi milk. So during last COVID phase, one of the biggest requirement of consumers has been immunity. So immunity is part of everyday nourishment, which is a big need state. So immunity is your need. And what are the products that can deliver immunity? So this is about the concept development. So we as a company understood very quickly because of the macro trends that immunity is the biggest need state currently for the consumers, and we need to deliver a product that can fit this need. So while we discussed several options, haldi milk came out as the most preferred option. So you develop the concept around haldi milk. So that is about idea generation. So once the idea is generated, then you need to see its feasibility. Like in the lab, you need to make haldi milk and see how it works, how it tastes. And most importantly, you are not just making haldi milk and drinking it, right? So you are converting that into a shelf-stable product, the product that can stay on the shelf for next 6 months. So when you try, say, as an example, haldi in milk, the solubility is not good because haldi normally gets dispersed in milk, but later it will either settle down or come up in milk. And that from the taste perspective, there is astringency, a lot of astringency. So people do not like the taste of astringency. So how do we solve that issue? So we solve that issue by using haldi extract. Haldi extract doesn't have these issues of astringency or solubility. So that is where the feasibility comes in. And the product that you want to deliver, it has to be affordable by a consumer. You cannot price it at, say, 50 rupees or so. So you have to price it at a point which is very affordable, and consumers see a value in that. So that cost analysis and regulatory point of view, what are the things that we need to look at? What are the kind of claims that we can do? So those things are done during feasibility studies. After that, you go into full development stage, because initially you are making the product in a small scale, like 2 to 3 liters of product, and taste it, and then they refine the recipe. But in the plants, it will be few thousands of liters. So from 2 liters, as an example, to convert it into a 5,000 liter batch, that will give you several surprises there in the plant, because in the plant you make the product, you mix the product, and then heat treat it, right? So that can give you several surprises. So a plant trial is needed. So plant trial would give you the kind of learnings that are needed, so that the commercialization is seamless. So those plant trials are to be done. Once the plant trials are done, then that product needs to be tested for the whole shelf life of 6 months. So you cannot wait for 6 months in some cases. So you can accelerate the study. So instead of 6 months, you can accelerate it and do the whole study 2 months, and then make the product market ready. So once that is done, then you go for the raw material and procure the packaging material procurement, and then launch the product. So this is the kind of broad key steps within the whole product development process. So sometimes it can take even say 7 to 8 months to deliver a product. But R&D has to be very agile in terms of delivering the consumer needs. So if there's a consumer need today for immunity, you cannot launch the product next year, right? So somebody else would come in that space by that time. So you need to be very agile in terms of delivering these different stages without compromising the quality, and make the launch happen. So how do we get these consumer needs, or say consumer trends? So there are several tools for that. One of the tools is called as Mintel. So that tracks global as well as Indian product launches in different categories. What are the kind of claims they make, the ingredient list of those products, the pack shots. So we have subscribed to Mintel. So it is a very good tool in terms of getting a lot of information around the new launches globally as well as in India. And they also continuously do consumer research in terms of understanding macro trends, their needs, the changing emerging needs, etc. And in addition to tools like Mintel, we continuously do consumer studies. We take feedback from the consumers in terms of understanding what they would like Mother Dairy to come up with. So what are the products that Mother Dairy can come up with? So those kind of information we continuously keep on building. Now, in research and development, there is research part and there is development part. So when you come to research part, research is about something that doesn't currently exist. So that it is something new. Globally, nobody has cracked it, and you are trying to crack that. So that is about research. And development is applying this research into your product development. So if you look at research, the research can happen in ingredients, it can happen in packaging, or it can happen in technology. Process. So that happens in the culture area, in the process. So the products that can deliver benefits like immunity or similarly, process researches such as high pressure processing that eliminates the need of heat treatment to a product. So just by inducing a very high pressure, you can reduce the microbial load of a product very significantly. And there are things like modified atmospheric packaging that are majorly used in sweets, where you modify the atmosphere within the headspace of the pack, thereby delivering the longer shelf life. Yeah, okay, sure. I'll continue. I think it is visible. So then we have got the development part, where you apply these ingredients or say packaging research into delivering the right product formats to the consumers. So those product formats can be say dairy or bakery, say beverages, etc. So this is how the research and development happens. So in any company, like in our company, we have got people working on research and we have got people working on development. So the kind of ingredients that they develop or say processes that they develop gets applied in our actual product development, and then it gets commercialized. Now coming to sensory part. So for any product developer, the most important requirement is that person should have very good sensory ability. And the sensory abilities come with experience. It can't be learned. So it comes with experience. Your nose has to be trained. Your tongue has to be trained to detect those very minute off notes or say the positive attributes of any product. That is one part. And the product developer need to have a very good understanding of what Indian consumers like. So in our case, like different states would have different preferences for their sweetness level or say spiciness level, etc., or say even textures. So those kind of key understanding or say key insights the product developer needs to have. Then only he or she would be able to develop a product that would be preferred by the consumers. And sensory plays a very important role here. And most importantly, once the product is launched, throughout its shelf life, it has to deliver the same kind of taste profile or similar kind of taste profile. It should not develop any off notes. It should not develop any phase separation. It should not develop any sedimentation or say floating of any particles, etc. So those things need to be taken care during the product development stage, which is very important for delivering a quality product. This talks about how do we do shelf life study. So the shelf life can be either in ambient, it can be in refrigerated, or it can be frozen. So in the case of ambient shelf life, it is normally in few months. It is like 4 to 6 months of shelf life. If it is refrigerated, normally the shelf life is like 15 to 21 days, like products like curd or yogurts, etc. Then frozen ones are much longer shelf life, around 18 months in frozen. For example, ice cream or say the kind of peas or corn that come in the frozen format. So you can do either real-time testing or accelerated testing. Normally the real-time is testing for the short shelf life products because you cannot wait for 6 to 9 months just to complete the stability testing. So you do the accelerated stability where the product is exposed to a higher temperature condition, thereby simulating for a longer shelf life. So as an example, if you are trying to develop a product of a shelf life of 6 months, then you can accelerate the temperature condition of stage and complete the study within months. So you can save those 4 months and still deliver the right kind of product into the market within a shorter time. Then packaging plays a very important role in this entire R&D process because packaging is a blend of material science as well as food technology. So material science is about the robustness of the packaging. As an example, thing like a pack of chips. So that pack would have 3 layers in it. So the outside layer will be PET. The middle layer will be laminate, which is aluminum foil, and the inside layer will be polyethylene. So these are 3 different families of packaging material, and they do not join with each other. So for joining, you need to have some kind of adhesion in between them. And the inside layer of polyethylene is needed because it is in contact with food material, and also it is needed for the sealing of the pack. So equipment in the plant, because you have specific equipment in the plant which you cannot change. So to suit the requirement of those equipment. So as so that the capex, additional capital investment, is avoided. So packaging plays a very important role in terms of making the food very stable during shelf life. You can use things like oxygen barrier or say moisture barrier to have a longer shelf life. So in case of chips, the most important thing is moisture barrier. Similarly, there should be oxygen barrier so that the chips do not get oxidized. So those kind of things are taken care by packaging. And similarly, wherever there is a possibility of reduction of plastic usage, one tries to do that. So that leads to both cost optimization as well as the plastic reduction. Now coming to R&D as a career for the students, what are those key things that one should possess? Because R&D is not a monotonous job, right? So every day you have got different challenges. It is not like you joined a company and doing the same job for the next 10 years. So there is a challenge on a daily basis. There are unknown surprises that come in that you have to cross. And also there's a lot of research that is involved. Research would mean nobody has done that anywhere globally, so you are trying to invent something new. So it is not a monotonous job. So for that you need to have a good technical knowledge. So during your college studies, it is very important for you to build a strong knowledge around the technical front. So if there is no technical knowledge, then that does not suit the R&D role, because technical knowledge is very important. Secondly, you need to be very creative. So always try to think out of box, challenge the status quo. So when you challenge status quo, then only the innovations happen. Ask questions, right? So if you are curious, then you start asking questions. And always the learning ability should continue, irrespective of the number of years you spend in the industry. You need to keep on learning on a daily basis, which is very important because R&D is an ever-changing field. There are so much of developments and research happening in this area, and you need to be updated about those areas for making yourself very relevant. And always the attitude has to be positive or proactive, as well as it has to be towards problem solving. So creating a problem or talking about a problem is very easy, but come up with a solution is a much more challenging job. So unless you are a solution finder, probably that person may not fit well in R&D. You can keep on talking about issues without finding a solution doesn't mean anything to a company. These are the key skills that one should have. And then there are allied other skills like the teamwork or say collaboration, because one person cannot deliver everything. In an industry atmosphere, you need to collaborate with different functions in terms of delivering a product into the market. As an example, R&D would work with the manufacturing team, it will work with marketing team, it will work with finance team, it will work with the sales team after the product launch. So there should be a very strong collaboration with cross-functional teams to deliver any product into the market. And you need to be very agile. As I was explaining, if the consumer need is today, you cannot wait for one more year to launch the product. So consumer need has to be met at that time itself. Otherwise, somebody else will take that place. So you need to be very agile as well as very flexible. And whenever you face challenges, you should not stop there, because some people say after a few challenges, they think that this is not going to be happening. So let me not do this. So that kind of attitude one should not have. You should keep on trying, challenge yourself till you arrive at a solution. So these are kind of key capabilities that are needed for a career in R&D. So as a student, probably all the students may not have all these skills, but even if they have, and have attitude of learning and building new skills, that is also good enough. So when you join the industry, you may not have all the required skills, but you should have a learning ability and learning attitude. Then you can be a very successful R&D person. So this slide gives a glimpse of what are the different opportunities. So within the food industry, there are different big segments like dairy or say juice, bakery like biscuits, then beverages like carbonated beverages, meat and fish, etc. So these are the key FMCG segments. At the same time, you have got the businesses that support the food industry. Those businesses are around ingredients, as an example, flavors or color. Similarly, there are ingredients like stabilizers, then cultures, etc. And at the same time, packaging also a very important part of the entire product format. So packaging industry. So one can look at opportunities within the food industry as well as the allied industry. So there are several multinational companies as well as Indian companies in both segments. Then if you look at the roles for a food technologist can move into a manufacturing area apart from research development. Then there is a quality or food safety area, packaging development area, or say one can go into techno commercial or marketing. Like if you are going into an ingredient company, as an example, flavor company, these flavor companies work a lot very closely with the food industry. So normally they prefer the people who already have some technical knowledge. A food technologist can become a very good marketing person if he is handling food ingredients and selling those ingredients to a food company. So there are several opportunities within or roles within the food industry as well as the allied industry that a food technologist can look at.
Yes, sir. Please continue, please.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have 3 more slides. I'll finish in next 5 minutes.
No problem, sir. You can continue. No problem.
Yeah. So I'll talk about our company and a few slides on our product portfolio that will be helpful to the students. As you know, Mother Dairy is part of NPT development. So we are close to 50-year-old company now. So the vision of the company is to help the farmers as well as help the consumers. So we convert farmers' agricultural produce, which is milk or say fruit or vegetable, into a value-added product. So during this conversion, we give back the maximum to the farmer. So if you look at the MRP of our product, nearly 75 to 80% of that selling price will go back to the farmer. This is the maximum that one can achieve in any food industry. At the same time, at the consumer's end, the product needs to be affordable. Very affordable also. That is consumer the products. Many are priced at 10 rupees, 15 rupees, or 20 rupees. And they are all milk based. So milk itself is a complete food delivering the right kind of protein, calcium, and micronutrients. So we are trying to deliver the great nutrition with an affordable price. This is how our portfolio looks like. So we have got 4 different business units. The biggest one is the one that sells liquid milk under Mother Dairy brand. Then we have got a whole range of dairy products like curd, then then ice creams, lassi, chaach. So you name any dairy format, it is there in our portfolio. Then we have got Dhara, which is the vegetable oil business, and we have got Safal. Safal is fruits and vegetable business. So altogether, we are around 10,500 crore company. And our innovation center is based in Delhi. So we have around 25 people who are responsible for product packaging and process development, as well as the analyticals, and the kind of tests that you need to do for our ingredients and products, so that we can continuously monitor the quality. This is one of the key initiatives that Mother Dairy has been a pioneer in. It is about fortification. So you may know that in India there is a deficiency of 6 key micronutrients. So there is a deficiency of vitamin A and D. Then there is iodine. Then B12, folic acid, and iron. So B12, folic acid, and iron to some extent is taken care by wheat flour. Iodine is taken care by salt, and vitamin A and D currently is being delivered through milk and vegetable oil. Mother Dairy implemented fortification nearly 35 years ago. In 1984 itself, we had implemented fortification. Vitamin D deficiency, if you look at, it is close to 90%, whereas vitamin A is around 60%. See, both these vitamins are not very prevalent in our daily food, because most population in India is vegetarian. And the key sources of vitamin A and D are non-vegetarian in nature. So that is the reason we don't get enough vitamin A or D. And people not venturing out nowadays into sunlight, the production of the body's production of vitamin D is very limited. And we deliver it through our milk format called as BVM, which is bulk vended milk or token milk, and also in the pouch format. And Mother Dairy has been the first company within the industry to implement this. So milk being a very good source of several nutrients like the protein. So I was talking about the fermentation and the way Mother Dairy has been delivering milk fortified with vitamin A and D. That can help a very large portion of the population, because around 5 liters a day. So if you take a household consumption of around 1 liter per day, on a daily basis, we are benefiting around 1.2 to 1.5 crore of population through this fortification. I had just one slide to show, but I'm not able to move there. If I have any questions, I can take it in the meanwhile.
Okay, participants, if you have any questions, you can post in the chat box, and sir can take up a question, your questions. So one of the participant has asked that, is going for agri-business MBA a good option or not? I think it's a agriculture business MBA he's asking.
Going into an MBA, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it is a good option in my opinion, because then MBA gives you much wider opportunities. Currently, you have a food technology background, and with an MBA, you can either go into the food industry, and also it offers you different other industries as the career option. It can surely be a good it will be a good option for the students. But if you are looking at R&D as your career option, then probably doing MTech or say MSc Tech after say the graduation can be looked at.
So as of now, sir, there is no question.
There is one more question I can see.
Okay.
What material other than polyethylene we can use for packaging that can be environment friendly?
Okay, this is a great question. Currently, like milk, milk uses polythene pouches as the packaging material because it is the lowest cost packaging material. The cost of polythene would be few paisas in the case of a half a liter or 1 liter of milk. Currently, there is no technology to convert a pouch that can hold liquid into a biodegradable format. So we have been working on it, but so far there is no solution because it is extremely complex. The challenges there are, first thing is you need to have biodegradable packaging material that doesn't dissolve when a liquid is there inside. That is one thing, and second thing is its sealability on the packaging machine, its robustness against leakage. So those are very important characteristics delivered by polyethylene, which a biodegradable material is not currently able to deliver. So we have been trying to work on environmentally friendly packaging. I think the slide that is in front of me that talks about some of the initiatives that we have. We are part of this external producer responsibility, which is a consortium of food industry, where we try to recycle the plastic that we use. So that plastic may be in the form of single layer plastic or say multi-layer plastic, but most of the plastic that we use, nearly 90% of it is single layer in our company. So single layer plastic has got a lot of recycling value, which a multi-layer plastic doesn't have. So all the milk pouches are single layer plastic. So we try to ensure that the milk pouches are picked up, or say that this plastic is picked up by rag pickers and that gets recycled. So that is one big initiative that company has been doing since last few years. Second is around how do you convert our existing package like trays or cups, etc., into a biodegradable format. So there is work happening around using of paper-based trays or say wood pulp-based trays as an environmentally friendly packaging. And most importantly, 30% of our portfolio is sold in the form of token milk, where there is no packaging there. So consumer needs to bring their own utensil to collect milk. So 30% of portfolio is unpackaged. So we are trying to crack that the challenge of having a milk pouch in a biodegradable format, but it is extremely complex. So currently there is no solution on it.
Yes. There is one more question. What is the per unit cost of Tetra Pak in packing of edible oils? Maybe per unit
cost of Tetra Pak, is it? Cost of Tetra Pak, no, we cannot disclose that, the cost that we incur on packaging material. So I will not be able to answer this question. It is few rupees actually.
There is one more question. Which material is less polluting, SLP or MLP?
MLP is multi-layer plastic. So that you do not have a recycling value for multi-layer plastic. So multi-layer plastic is like a chips pack. Chips packet is a multi-layer plastic because there are different layers in it. So it cannot be recycled. So what happens is this multi-layer plastic goes into industry like cement industry, where it is used as a fuel. And single layer plastic goes into recycling, where it is converted into some useful things like table or say plastic table or say chairs, etc.
Yes, Dr. Sunen, I think I don't see any more questions.
Yes, ma'am. There has been no another question at my end also. Participants, please, if you have questions, please you post it. Okay. I think, ma'am, they don't have any other questions. So meantime, I'd ask Dr. Ankit to please post the link for the assessment of today's assessment. Okay, so participants, the link for today's assessment has been posted. Please go through it. And I would like to welcome Dr. Monica Thakur to offer the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Sunay. Very good evening to all of you. It is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks on the 5th day of workshop on innovations and sustainability in food processing. First, I would like to thanks to all the distinguished speakers of the day, Dr. Prashant and Dr. R.P. Singh, who gave the excellent presentations, making our workshop really very interesting and meaningful. Special thanks to all the higher authorities of our university, Founder President Sir, Chancellor Sir, Vice Chancellor Madam, Dr. Silvamurthy, Dr. Nutan Kaushik, for keep us motivating and guiding us at each and every step. Special thanks to Dr. V.K. Modi, Director of our institute, my worthy colleagues and all the staff members, and special thanks to IT team. And now the most important part, that is the participants. So we thank you all the participants to this thing daily. I think they join the session on time and they attend all the assessments. Thank you so much, all the participants. And now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be having a full day workshop. And tomorrow is the 6th day of workshop. So thank you so much. And if any participant is having any query regarding anything, means about the assessment or about any session, if they want to know really or any other queries also regarding any of the sessions, so we can so please post your queries in the email address. I think daily we are communicating through one formal email address, so you can address your query there. You can address anything, any type of information you want from us. So thank you once again, and thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Monica. Dr. Monica.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Dr. Prashant.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Though I was in the 2-3 parallel meetings, so in between I was just coming in and going out from your presentation. Really very thankful to you. That is, so it was a very good presentation for our students, and I'm sure that you have shown a path how to get into the industry. So students will definitely take that advantage, and it's a great pleasure for us, and I'm really thankful to you and for this your valuable time. You have accepted our invitation, and so sometimes when we start working with the university face to face, sometimes we'll meet. I'll invite you to our institute so that we can work for a collaboration type of a work. And I know that Mother Dairy is giving a lot of opportunity to our students. They are doing their internship or the project work, major or minor project. So in that way, students are lucky that they are getting a in-depth knowledge from the Mother Dairy. So with this, I'm really thankful to you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Dr. Modi. It was a great pleasure to interact with the students and you as well as the faculty members. Yeah, we'll be in close touch in terms of collaboration opportunities in the future on research.
Yes.
As well as we'll be happy to provide training opportunities for your students. We have been doing that and we'll continue doing that. Thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah. Dr. Prashant, though the session is over, one question always linger in my mind about this buttermilk.
Yes.
That in Tetra Pak, that is a very means liked product.
Yeah.
Is it pasteurized product?
Yes, it is because anything in Tetra Pak goes through a heat treatment so that the microbes are not there. So we actually have got two formats. One is the chilled format, other is the Tetra Pak format. So the chilled format would have all the live bacteria in it, the cultures, whereas the Tetra Pak format will not have. So it will be mainly the benefit of the milk component which is there.
Okay. So Tetra Pak, we don't get that microbes what it is originally there in the buttermilk.
I think from a benefit perspective, go for the pouch format. So pouch format
Yes,
has a shelf life of 7 days, and all the goodness of digestive benefits is preserved there. Yeah.
so that we cannot claim for the Tetra Pak that it is a good for is a probiotic product.
Actually during the heat treatment, the live bacteria gets killed, but they act as a prebiotic. Actually, the dead bacteria is still there, and they act as a prebiotic to some extent. But the best benefits are in the chilled format. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so
Since
much.
since long this question is lingering to me that how this Tetra Pak product.
Okay. Okay.
So there is one question by the participant that would like to know about the shortest time consuming blast freezing methods.
Shortest time consuming.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we use blast freezers for our frozen products. So the shortest one is IQF.
Yeah, IQF.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
And one more question, sir. Sorry, this is the last question probably. Sir, is it possible to go abroad directly for a job without doing any food-related courses in respective nations?
Yeah. That is a very
That means after doing BTech, they can directly go there and for the job.
They have not mentioned any graduation or post-graduation, but yes.
I
Yeah,
think maybe thinking
my
about
recommendation would be to find a good opportunity here in India, and maybe after a few years of experience, maybe you can go outside for a few years, but try to come back to India, because it is our own country, right? So one has to come back to India and serve the nation, in my opinion.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. That's a
Very
wonderful
true, sir.
answer.
Very true.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Dr.
sir.
Prashant.
Thank you, Dr. Prashant.
Okay, ma'am. Now we can ask the IT people to close the session.
Students, you are not participants. You are not finding any problem doing the assessment, right? There are no.
Actually, now the process is smooth because it was a little bit difficult on MS platform. But now since we have done with the Google and this thing, Google Forms, so now the system is a little bit easier.
Yes, we will be having a set. No, we have already for the yesterday session. We already had gone through the assessment. One of the participants
Dr.
is
Renu,
asking.
I'm leaving. Monica,
Yes,
the
sir.
review meeting started, so I'm leaving. I'm joining their review meeting.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Ma'am, there are 40 students who have submitted.
Okay, sir.
So we will make announcement. So students, we have already sent through email the assessment form. So kindly fill that assessment form for the yesterday also. So they have to do for this thing all the days.
There is a question from a participant asking, we are done with the form, but would like to know the score. The score will be, total scores will be compiled, participants, and based on that, the result will be considered. You have to have.
So, ma'am, that's why I have made one announcement that if any student is having any individual query, so they can write that query in the form of email. I think the common email address we have already shared with them. So please, students, please participants, don't worry about that. So you can write the individual query there, then we'll be very happy to answer that.
Yes.